Hello my friends and welcome back again. What I'm going to be talking about today are magnifying kits. It's a new kit that we've got as I do this video now. I'm going to talk to you about some of the other kits as well because they kind of fit into a set. I warn you now, you're going to have to pay attention because it can be a bit confusing, whereas a lot of suppliers do pen kits that are really simple. Some of ours are just slightly complicated, but hopefully a little bit different, which is why we do them the way we do them. First of all, you might think, well, a magnifier kit is a bit old-fashioned. Grandma used to have a magnifying glass or something like that. I think mine did, my mum did as well, many years ago, and I now have one. I'm not quite sure. I think it's a mixture of two things. One is, as you get older, your eyesight gets worse, and the other thing, forgive the rustling, is you get things like this. I don't know what these are, some kind of pens, but the details on the back of here are so small they're almost invisible. I had a I can't find it now, sadly, an instruction book for, I think it was a computer mouse, a few weeks ago, and it was so small I couldn't read it with the naked eye. I took a photograph of it and zoomed in, and it just went pixelated. The only thing that I could use to actually read it was a magnifying glass. And this is the magnifying glass we're going to look at today. The code is AMC. They're chrome magnifiers. They're 50 mils, 2 inches in old money if you prefer. That's what we're going to look at today. The other thing that we're going to look at with this are a couple of other kits, because this, whilst it doesn't have chrome rings in it or supplied with it, it kind of matches our 4-ring, well, it does match our 4-ring letter openers, which are here, which you can see I've got the rings in different places, and also our Rossetti pen kit. They all have the little black ends on here, and you can see these are two that I did quite a while ago, one with 4 rings in the middle, one with pairs of rings there. So it's possible to make a set with these things. I can't hold them all up, but they all kind of, if you see all the ends, they all kind of match and would make rather a nice set. Now let's talk to you briefly about bushings, because the bushing set that is supplied for the magnifiers is the same as for the Rossetti and also for the letter opener. And here they are. There's 3 parts, one at each end, pretty standard for a single tube kit, and there's also one here that's called an interstitial bushing. That is only used when you are putting in 3 rings onto the tube. So basically the way it works is, for this magnifier we're going to mount it like that. If you bought, and we do sell the rings separately, you would put the interstitial bushing on there and the other end on there. I'm not going to explain the application of the 4 rings because it has to be done a different way, and it's really quite complex. Today I'm not putting 4 rings in, I'm just going to use the basic setup. So let's save any confusion. That is the setup I'm using today. Interstitial bushing put to one side. I'm going to do that, and I'm going to turn it with one of our maple blanks that I've got here, and I'm hoping I'm going to finish it with a CA finish that I'm going to paint on by brush, because I seem to get on much better with CA and a brush. We'll see. Right, as always, I'm going to point the camera at the lathe and show you what I'm doing. I'm going to fast forward through it all because watching a man drill and turn a piece of wood round, well, there's thousands of videos of that on YouTube, and it frankly gets a bit boring. So then we'll, after we've done that bit, we'll look at assembling and how the kit actually comes, because you need to take bits of it apart before you press it all together. It's fairly logical, but it's worth running through anyway. I'm starting with my pen blank in here. I have a centre finder here to find the centre of the blank before I use the drill. The drill is 9.7 millimeters for the tubes for all the 3 kits that I mentioned earlier. Now onto the assembly. Now you'll see I've got my press here. The parts themselves, the end cap is pretty obvious, it's an end cap on its own. The main glass comes in a bubble bag. It's already assembled, however please don't push the whole glass assembly onto the tube. You need to actually disassemble this and actually unscrew the end like so. Make sure you have something underneath it because you don't want to drop the glass and scratch it, and just set that down there. So we've now got both ends ready to squash into the kit without damaging the glass. A quick rustling of packets and moving of things because everything's in the way here. I'm as organised as always. Where are we? That end goes in there, that end goes in there, and we're ready now to squash these two together. When I've moved everything else out the way. The white parts that you can see me using here is acetal rod attached to a couple of blank arbor ends, because I don't need a pen press because I've got a perfectly good lathe. And there we have the handle finished. Let me just zoom in slightly, hopefully. There we go, you can see that. And then we'll pick up the glass piece and we'll simply screw that, making sure the thread is straight on there like so. And there we have one finished magnifier. And I think that is rather nice piece of wood, that maple. There we go, perhaps you can see that better. So there we go, there is our little magnifying kit. They are lovely little kits, they're really beautifully made, and hopefully the bit I've done as well is nearly as nice as that. If I hold that up there, you can hopefully see the grain in the maple there. It's really quite lovely stuff. So a cracking little kit. If you wanted, because this isn't a pen kit and doesn't have to have a hole all the way through the middle, what you could do if you wanted to give it a bigger handle is actually cut the tube in half and put a bit of tube in each end of your wood and do it that way. However, then you need to turn it between centres, not on a mandrel as I've done today. The only reason I've used a mandrel today is because of the application of the CA, and you saw me use some little plastic ends that the CA is supposed not to stick to. I can't remember what I made them out of, to be honest. I don't remember having any of that pink stuff, but if I was making some today, I'd use acetal rod because that CA doesn't stick to that at all well. So there we go, a lovely little kit, and I can now go and read my instructions for whatever it is I buy next that comes in an almost invisible form. Thanks very much for watching. Happy turning, safe turning, box making, whatever it is you do in your workshop. Of course, do it safely, but most of all, enjoy it. Until next time, bye bye for now.